this or like this? Hey, everybody, welcome back to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking to Ella Sturtz, who I've known pretty much your whole life, Ella. And we're going to be joined here by Jordyn Wolf in a couple minutes. She's having a little bit of technical difficulties. But so, Ella, I'm excited to talk to you. I've been talking to young entrepreneurs all week who are working so hard and have been so inspiring. And what I love about your business, Bagels, is you guys are a bagel delivery service, and it's a business that's kind of been being passed down. You know, everybody wants to know, how do you grow a company? How do you keep it moving? Tell a little bit of the backstory of how Bagels kind of came about and how they keep on kind of passing the torch.
Right. So basically, Lauren Shosek's dad started it. And he kind of started it by himself and, passed it to his sons. And, it's kind of gone along that way. And it's been Bagel Boys until Lauren and Julie took it over.
Right.
And so they rebranded the business and they made it into Bagels. And then they passed it on to us this year. And so
they passed the business off to you. I mean, it's not, I think sometimes people think, bagels, bagel delivery, right? I mean, okay, so you go get your bagels and you deliver it, but there is a lot to the system of getting orders. Hey, Jordyn.
Hi.
We just started talking. We were talking about just kind of how it came about and how you guys ultimately took over Bagels. But there's a lot that goes to it, and I don't think people really know. Every business takes a lot of preparation, preparing, and planning. So can you kind of talk about the flow and the system of how it works? Because I think it's much more complicated than people actually think.
Yeah. So every Friday we text our customers asking them if they want to order, and then if they do want to order, they text us, and then we get back to them with their totals.
Sorry, guys. I have workmen here and my dogs are in here. Hey, nice, come on. Grab him. Keep on talking. I'm gonna grab my dog. Keep on talking.
All the orders, and we have a spreadsheet of every bagel flavor and all the cream cheeses, and then all those totals of the bagels get added up and then put onto a Google Doc and a total sheet. And then we fax that total sheet over to New York Bagel on Saturday night, around anywhere from 9 to past that. And then we wake up early Sunday morning, go get the bagels, bag them.
When do you guys have to wake up on Sunday morning?
I wake around 5:45, probably. Yeah. Early.
Yeah. So you go get the bagels. So before we go into that flow, I want to back up for a second because, one of the things which I think texting is the greatest thing in the world. I mean, you can effectively communicate so quickly. So talk a little bit about, some of the things. How do you effectively communicate via text? Because you're using it to build a business, communicate with your clients, ultimately make money as well and grow your business. So how does your generation effectively communicate via text?
Well, I think it's interesting because I feel like a lot of people would think texting, it's very casual and whatever, just to text your close peers, but it can be used in a very professional way, and it's just such an easy way to communicate. So, and I think communication is very important with your customers and everyone. So it's easy when you are texting people. Obviously you get to be friendly with them because you want to maintain that good customer service, but it's also good to be professional, and it's just the quickest way. So once we text people, it's really easy for us to gather all the information and then put it into a spreadsheet, which we do. So it kind of puts it all in one place for us, with everyone texting us, and it's easy for us to, get everyone's information and their orders and then transfer it to a spreadsheet.
Yeah, I love that. So let me ask you a question. I find as I coach people all over that one of the biggest issues they have is they don't have systems, they don't have processes. They're they're just completely, this is Ali, they're just completely unorganized. And so give some tips, because I feel like your generation of young entrepreneurs was raised on technology. They understand Excel. They understand how to utilize technology to really organize themselves. And so talk a little bit about the system and how you organize and how much it helps you grow your business and just maintain it.
So I think organization is definitely like key, and it definitely helps us like each week run like really smoothly. So all of our customers, and whenever we get a new customer, me and Ella both have we have like separate customer lists. So like I text like X amount of people and she texts X amount of people, just so it's easier, but it's all like combined in the end. But each like list is in a Google Doc and a Google Sheet, so then it just adds on and adds on. So it's a very like fast and like simple way to just look and see like, okay, these are all my customers, and it's like all their information, their phone number, their address, and any like notes like where like they want their bagels delivered and all that stuff. It's just right in front of us and very easy to access. And also just like having like a spreadsheet for the bagel orders, like that's like so like easy and just organized, and it definitely just, it's the smoother, it just helps you run very smooth, like the more organized you are.
Let me ask you guys a question. I appreciate that. That's great feedback. Part of every business, and whether you're a young entrepreneur or a seasoned entrepreneur or anything in between, one of the most important things is mentorship. I'm a big believer that you need a minimum of 3 mentors to grow in any element of your life or business. How have you guys reached out to mentors as you have grown this business, whether it be the former bagels or other mentors to kind of help you along the way?
Yeah, so definitely we trained with Julie and Lauren, obviously, before we took over the business.
I interviewed them on the show a couple of years ago. They were great.
Yeah. So we trained with them for like, I don't know, I'd say 3-4 months maybe. And and then when we took it over, we have kept in contact with them, obviously, when we have questions and when we need help with things, just because they're a lot more experienced than us in this sense. So it's really nice to have them to reach out and like kind of get reassurance from someone that is more experienced than you. And I also think like with our parents, like we ask them for help, and they have experience in business. Like my dad has a lot of experience in business, and I know Jordyn's parents are there to help too. But it kind of is, it's really helpful to have people there, just because this is like our first job, like we're working on our own, and sometimes it can be a lot just because you're questioning whether you're doing it right or what to do. And it's just nice to have Julie and Lauren and our families and whoever to help us kind of guide us through that.
Working on your own is a big responsibility, but it also, most of the people that I talk to, they say it feels so great, right? And so working on, and in order to be an entrepreneur, you kind of got to work on your own or with partners. And so what have you guys learned about working on your own that you didn't know prior to working on your own? What have you learned?
Well, I definitely think so. When we like first took it over, it was like right when like quarantine started. So it was like this whole like when we were in training, like we were always like working like together, either like with like Julie and Lauren. So it's like me and Ella always expect like, oh, like each week we would be like sitting right next to each other, like working together. But then like we kind of took like a turn, I guess, and waited. And we kind of like had to figure it out, like, okay, like what we have to do like, by ourselves, because we can't like be necessarily like right next to each other. So what can we each do at home? So we kind of had to like adapt in a way. So like we end up making like 2 different like spreadsheets to like fax in and like kind of like do it separately. So like we kind of like Ella and her mom drove, and then like I drove to deliver bagels. So it was definitely just a huge like it's just like, because then you're by yourself, like you're not in a team, so it's like, okay, like it's like you're not getting help from like your partner, so it's like, okay, like it's all on me. Like
Yeah.
it can go very well, or there might be like a bump in the road, but definitely like was a big learning experience, and it ended up like working really well, but like you just gotta like get used to it.
Yeah, I think that I think if you keep on persevering and just keep on going, it ends up working out. It's just working through the uncomfortableness of it, which is which is actually, Jordyn, I think a barrier to entry for many, because a lot of times people don't like to feel that uncomfortableness, and so they find themselves in kind of a corporate job where they don't have to be uncomfortable. So great, great words to inspire people. Ella, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I don't know, because we work so closely with our customers, I think a big like thing that's always on our mind is like disappointing the customers or like messing up one of their things. But again, that's just like you learn through time, and like people that are understanding, like customers that are understanding, which all of our customers are, like they understand that we will hit bumps in the road. But I think it's just like we have to maintain good communication with our customers for them to like understand when we make a mistake or when we need to like improve on something.
Yeah. I'm a big believer that if you don't make mistakes, you're just not working hard enough, and you do the best you can, and you reach out to your mentors. And you're talking about time, Ella, right? You learn through time. So how long do you guys take over Bay Gals now? Is it all through all of high school?
Yeah, so next year we'll be juniors, so we'll have all of junior year, and then I guess so like all of senior year, but then during senior year we'll train like the next generation of Bagels.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this. So, you guys are going to be juniors in high school next year. And, the world is just looking a little bit different today than it did a few months ago. What advice, and there's a lot of people still in this world. I talk to people all the time who are starting their own business, even in this world, because they realize they want different things, and they want to be with their families more. So being entrepreneurs, what advice would you give to any entrepreneur who's thinking about starting their own business and just maybe is kind of stuck?
I would say, I think it's definitely hard to like push yourself enough just because you're scared of making those mistakes and like scared that the first time you try it, like it won't be perfect, which it won't. But I think my advice would just be like, you just have to go in like knowing that you will make mistakes and that it's going to be okay. And at first you just like can't be too hard on yourself. And again, with time you will learn, but it's definitely important. Like if you want to start your own business or become an entrepreneur, like just like go for it. Like, cause in the end it does like feel so good to like work for it. And like at the end of a Sunday, like me and Jordyn are both like so happy. Like we feel like so fulfilled, like finishing our job for the weekend. Like it's just such a great feeling.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan that success minus fulfillment equals failure. That's a Tony Robbins quote that's had a huge impact on me. But you know what? It's also, I think, what you're showing, and what all the young entrepreneurs are showing that I've interviewed this week, is that there's people who maybe feel stuck in a job, but you can still do something on the side and begin building it, right? So you guys are in school full time, you have lots of activities, but you're also building this business. And so everyone doesn't have to start from doing something 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You can start small and see where it grows into. Well said. Jordyn, how about you?
I definitely like agree. I would just, each week like is definitely like a learning experience. Like with anything like that happens, like it kind of just like the failures and like the bumps in the road of like any job, I think definitely just like help you grow and like just make like over time like you'll realize like it will get easier. And I think without those mistakes, like you won't like gain more like experience. And like I think those like failures and like are almost like necessary. Like they kind of like make you like stronger in a way. And like I feel like because like we have dealt with like those bumps in the roads now, like we know how to deal with them. And like it just like those like little things just like help you like that much more. And it honestly like it does like feel like it feels good like being able to like kind of like look at yourself and be like, wow, like I just dealt with that like issue like where like a year ago like I wouldn't even know how to like handle that, because it's like it's like a maturity thing. Like, like you're talking to adults, like it's like a business. It's like you being able to like handle it is definitely something like I'm like proud of, and like I think we both are. And it's like even like we just anyone like those bumps in the roads, I think it's so easy to say like don't get down on it, but
Yeah.
you probably will, but then like later you can look back and then kind of look more at it as like a proud thing and just be like, okay, like we did it, like we got through the week, like on to the next.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And failures are necessary, because the only way to kind of figure things out is, like we said earlier, like if you're not making mistakes, you're not working hard enough, and you just gotta kind of just keep on going. And when you make a mistake, like you were saying earlier, Ella, like just communicate it with your clients. To me, it's business is all about effective communication and empathy and accountability, and just doing the best that you can do and learning from your mistakes and just not carrying them. You just gotta really let them go. If the intent was clean when you initially tried, something and it didn't work, then you just leave it behind and you just get present, center yourself, and move forward. So that's really well said. Well, I appreciate you both. I love I love bagels, I love bagels, and I love what you guys are doing. And you tell everybody where you service. You service Huntington Woods.
Yeah. So we service Huntington Woods and Berkeley. And, sometimes if we have that really close customer, like, in Royal Oak or whatever, like close to Huntington Woods, close to Berkeley, we will serve to them too, but based in Huntington Woods and Berkeley.
And if they want to get a hold of you, how do they connect with you?
So we have an Instagram and a Facebook, and I think word of mouth has definitely been huge. I know next door neighborhood has also like a few people have followed us on there. And just like a lot of our customers like are like neighbors with each other. So I think like just like word of mouth has definitely been like huge.
Yeah. Sure. But if somebody needed to get a hold of you, how would they get a hold of you?
Oh, so even like on our menu and everything. So anywhere where you can like find us, our email and both of me and Ella's phone numbers are there. And even on our Instagram, like you can literally like you can click and it will like call if you wanted. And you can we've had customers like call us and be like, hey, are you guys the Big Gals? And we're like, yeah. And
your Instagram is what?
It's ba.gals. Yeah.
Okay, ba.gals. Okay, great. So we got Instagram. All right, good. And so if people want to order bagels, they order when? On Friday?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll text them on Friday.
Okay. All right, good. So my last question to you is, as you kind of look through the next couple of years and the next, they say that the decade is about adaptability, right? And a lot of what you're talking about is because they say that the 85% of the jobs that exist in 2030 don't exist today. And so this next decade is all about learning about how to adapt, how to be nimble, and so what advice would you give someone in middle school today, right? So you guys are juniors in high school, and looking back at middle school, what advice would you give someone? Because I don't think you're never too young. My youngest person I've interviewed on this show has been 11 or 12 years old. You're never too young. What advice would you give them on how to adapt even at that age, to start a business?
I think definitely like we have technology and just using it to your advantage, like is so helpful. So definitely that and like figuring out how to use it. I think figuring out how to use technology and like, it keeps you organized and it helps you reach a broader audience. And also I would just say like, yeah, adapting is really important. Like you've said, and we've talked about earlier. So like, it might take you some time to adapt to the situation or whatever's going on. But if you think about like problems like you have in your own life that you want to fix, like that could always help you like go forward, or things you want in your life that could always help you go forward and like start a business that you would want and most likely other people around you would want.
Right. That's great advice. Because sometimes it's so obvious, it's right in front of you. it's something that, that people miss it, right? There's
Right.
that saying, like, hide it in plain sight. And so if you can do that, that's great. Jordyn, how about you?
I would say just find anything that you're passionate about and think like how you could like pursue it as a business. I think you can really turn almost anything into a business. And even though it might be like scary because you're like, oh, maybe this hasn't been done before, like I'm only 11 years old or whatever, like how am I really gonna like make this into a business? I would just say like don't give up, like see what you can do. What else? Like use technology to your advantage. Like there's so many like kids nowadays just like even like making an Instagram account and like selling stuff off of there. Like you really could just like do anything. Like start small. Like there's like asking for you to become some huge business so fast. Yeah.
I agree. Sorry, go ahead.
Just like stick with it and like see where it goes, even if it's not like it's not going to be like your future job, but like it can be definitely fun, like while you're in middle school and high school.
I agree. Stick with it. I think consistency is absolutely key. You do small things every single day that compound over time. That's the secret, as well as execution and finding passion in what you do and what's right in front of you. Well, I'm proud of both of you. I think what you're doing is great. It takes a lot of discipline, it takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, where I know you guys are active, young adults who've got a big social life and school and activities. And so kudos to you guys for keeping the tradition of gals and everything that you're doing, working really, 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 really hard. Thanks for your wisdom today. It will inspire many people your age, younger, and really probably more people a lot older who need to hear this from the young entrepreneurs to remind themselves of some of the key fundamental things. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate you both.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Keep doing great things.
Thank you.
All right. Talk to you. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.